Have you ever looked through your art journal and noticed that the pages just seem disconnected? Like every page has a new idea, but they don't relate to each other? Well, I used to create that way, and I found that the biggest shift was following a thread. And what I mean by that, it's not finding new ideas every page, but staying with one long enough and following it. And that's what today's video is about. Hi, I'm Michelle, and if you're new here, this channel is all about mixed media, intuitive creativity, and discovering the artist you're becoming, one layer at a time. So welcome. If you've been following this series, everything you see here started a few weeks ago beside the water, and it began by noticing. I created some first starts, as you can see here, after choosing a very minimal palette. These are the papers that I first started with, and then I moved on to rhythm grids to explore the movement and patterns and quiet energy of the water, as that is my thread that I'm following. And those observations became color explorations, and later more collage papers, direct painting, and rhythm papers that you see underneath my journal. And today we are going to be taking the next step. So before I start creating, this time, as I was, of course, exploring on Instagram, I found that pressing, ironing papers, as sometimes they can just be curly and just not flat. So I gave it a try, and I really like the results. They're definitely flatter. But not only that as the reason, it gives me another opportunity to spend time with them. And I really like that because I don't know if this happens to you. When I really love an idea or get excited about it, I tend to rush. So I don't mind another step, just giving me more time to stay a little longer in this conversation of the papers. So I'll just show you what I did with the latest creation of these papers, and they were direct painting. They were not made, the latest ones at least, were not made with the Gelli plate. So I'll just go through those now and just speed up the video. So now, as you can see, I have a well-stocked collection of light, medium, and dark. Sometimes the papers sort of land between a medium and dark or a light and medium, but that's okay. And this is the encyclopedia paper that's sort of like vellum. It's very thin and translucent. I love it. And when I ironed it, it's so nice and flat, and I think much easier to use. And as I spend more time with my papers, a few of them begin inviting one more or two quiet layers, because it's the layering, it's the visual sense of all of these layers that combine together really provide an amazing feeling. And that's what I'm after, the feeling of the water, its energy and mystery. And not because these papers are unfinished, but because I'm following that thread. This one is my main influence. So this is just on the Gelli plate though, where these are not. And I'm going to use a combination of stencils and more mark making and rhythm patterns. And that's why I call them rhythm papers and then support papers, which are quiet, close to solid, but I love the direct painting where they're not. And these are all from the same, if you noticed, muted palette, all from the same color palette that I showed you. So this is one of my favorite moments. I previously spread everything out on the floor. I started with the light value, made 4 groupings of those, and of course left some out that weren't speaking to me. And then I added the medium and the dark to each group that, of course, related to each other. So I'm looking for rhythms, textures, energy, of course, and I don't force these relationships. I like them to simply recognize and develop on their own. With this paper family, there's a bit more green, a bit more aqua. And when I'm making my collage papers, I also love to use different kinds of text pages. This is the 3rd paper family with an interesting, just slightly very transparent blue or aqua. And you might even have, which I have, old collage papers hanging around that you haven't used yet. And I love this on. It's a very heavy paper, which will be wonderful for some low relief texture. Some of them, as you saw from the previous videos, I start making marks with pencil, but you can do that afterwards. Here's a text page that sort of looks like a ledger page. And of course, charcoal underneath the layers for interesting shadow. Last but not least, another one with a very light value and a very interesting dark with asemic writing with removal with an awl. I like to use a bamboo skewer. You can use the back of a brush. And these were just old pages from using charcoal that I painted over. So I've chosen a few of the solid support papers that I previously made with my Gelli plate printer. And these are the ones that I usually add one more subtle layer. It can just be with brush strokes. They're more of a rhythm that I'm going to add. My dots, and I might even layer a couple of rhythms on them. So the color is the Cerulean Blue and unbleached titanium. So it gets a nice, almost a patina. I'm not using turquoise yet, but I will. And this is going to go on this one. And I just bring the collage, and yeah, that's a nice lighter, calmer. But I want the ghost print. So I want to use my organic circles, like so. I'm going to press a piece on it first, which I can use, and it'll have lots of negative open space, which will be very translucent to use over top, and that's interesting. I'm not one for, in my work lately, using the manufactured stencils, but if they're just partially in there and I come over and veil them, they can add a very interesting area. And what I'm doing in the background of my mind is thinking, okay, my thread is water, so I want to really keep that in mind, and I'm loving this. So then I'm bringing this medium dark piece over. Oop. Okay, that's all right. Making sure it's going to grab. And even if the pull is very subtle, that's okay too. In the summertime, some days can be pretty dry in my studio or in anyone's studio, so things can dry quickly. That's exactly what I thought, and that's exactly what I wanted. So, very interesting. So I want to try that again, and I happen to have some, I believe this one is a Stencil Girl stencil, and this one is just an Amazon grouping, and they're both represent or feel like water. So I'm going to put the same blue with the unbleached titanium, and I'm just going to, I think I'm going to put both like this, so then I can have some plain, I have just small sections of these. And if I want more, I can make more. And you can do the same. So as you could see earlier, too much paint on the plate. So let's see if this is enough. And this is where I love to explore my ratios of values and colors together to get a different range. Just sort of remembering quantity of a dark, a light. This is very nice. And notice, so this is a muted tone because it's been altered. And that's what I like to work with. Muted tones are quiet. And there's a lot more to them, I believe, than so many bright colors together. So I'm just going to do, I want more of this one. And let's move this up here. Okay, so we'll do the same. We'll lift it because I'm interested in the ghost print. So I'm just using my fingers so it can get in the stencil. So that's really nice to have. So you get two for every set. Okay, it did not work, so I have a backup plan. I'm going to use some gloss medium. It's a little older, so it thickens up. Okay. don't want to use, I think I can use this. My plan is to spread this on. Since it's wet, it might still grab that layer. And I love when these impromptu things happen when I'm recording. I love it. It tests my adaptability. Here we go. So I'm going to put, and even if that little mark's there, that's awesome. I'm going to put a new piece of deli wrap. Got a little wrinkle, but that's okay. I'm going to see, adding that little bit of moisture, whoops, if it helped at all. Oh, it's helping a little bit, but now it's got to dry a bit longer. Okay, so it's been sitting about 2-3 minutes, and let's see what happens this time. I use my dryer just a little bit. Oh. Now this paper can be a little delicate sometimes for these. So what I do, if you get a tear, then you just go to the other corner, knead it. Okay, so it got most of it, and these are amazing, even with the cracks. So you can see, very interesting layers. And you might just want a stash of these, which I think I do, because all the translucency and the layers with the thread of water, it really goes. This one stayed a little murky, but that's okay. So I'm just creating a rhythm that I discovered for myself, and I'm using white. I plan to use black, maybe a medium, and changing the subtlety and value. And this adds a very interesting top layer. So following a thread isn't about limiting your creativity. It's about giving one idea enough time to grow. And that's what I've been learning. When I stop chasing, or you stop chasing every new idea and begin listening to what keeps returning, our pages begin feeling more connected and even more like us, because we're taking the time to notice those subtleties. And slowly, a visual language begins to emerge. That's where I believe we begin discovering the artists we're becoming. If you'd like to continue following this thread with me, next week we'll begin creating from one of those paper families to start several pages. If this way of creating resonates with you, I've also created a free guide called Returning to Your Art. You'll find the link in the description below, and also the link to the series below. So until next time, let's be creating one soulful layer at a time.